Hello, it's me, Steady Eddie from the YouTube. Mortal Online 2, a game that I love, a game that I adore, and a game that has a plethora of problems that I don't know will ever be fixed. I've stated before that subjectively, I think this is the most fun I've had in a video game, potentially ever. I think that the systems in the game, the way it works, the farming, the PvP, all of it all together, including the voice chat, has led to something that I find unbelievably fun. And I'm addicted to it. I'm completely addicted to it. I think about it at night. It's that kind of addiction. But I think objectively, I hesitate to say a bad game because I think the structures and the sort of ideas behind the game are so strong, and that's what makes it a fun game. But I think objectively, it's a badly made game. I think it's rough around the edges. In fact, I don't just think it's rough around the edges. I think it's spiky around the edges. I think the edges will give you friction burns. But it has a plethora of bugs. It's there's these NPCs that sort of just stare at you nonchalant. And in their roadmap, they said they're going to add polish, they're going to add sheen, but I don't know if they know what that sort of looks like to a player, because Mortal Online 1 certainly didn't have sheen. It certainly didn't have polish. It was known to be a clunky game, and for a niche of people, it was also a very fun game in the same way that Mortal Online 2 is. And it had a terrible launch. It had an absolutely awful launch. Probably one of the worst launches I've ever seen, up there with New World. People were losing items. They added loads of, because there was lots of people trying to get into the server, those big queues. They added in these sort of separate shards, and that led to even more problems. People were losing horses. People were losing houses in some instances, where all the stuff and the materials they'd grinded in their house just disappeared with it, and was irretrievable. They ended up doing rollbacks, and this led to very, very bad PR for the game. And lots of people on YouTube made videos about it. It was a bad launch. Let's just leave it at that. I can't swear, but it was bad. It was the swearing word for bad. It was an absolute bad show, if you will. I can't swear anymore because instant demonetization. However, over the last year, they have made, in very big credit to them, a lot of very good changes. They've got rid of a lot of the bugs. It's just a fun game. They've added a lot of content. They've added a lot of stuff around the map, and it's a fun, playable game now. And I really enjoy it. And you can see that from Steam charts. The population has been growing over the last few months, very steadily, and trust in the community, in the developers, has gone up by a lot. However, I have also felt that they sort of just throw things at the wall and hope that something sticks, throw paint at the wall, whatever the saying is. You know the saying that I mean. And they announce things all the time. Every week, Henrik does a stream where he does like a Q&A. They do key giveaways. And there is always some new announcement about new content, new something. And it just doesn't sit right with me, because it just feels like sort of empty promises about things that won't appear for years. And I just think that they should focus on what they have. They should focus on what they've got. They've got a core good game that they can, add sheen, polish, perfect it, make this game good. Make this game something that, not just the niche audience wants to play, but everyone wants to play. And it was only a week, 2 weeks ago that they announced like these big dragons that they're adding. And I thought, what the hell, why? Focus on what's going on. Why are you doing these teaser trailers about big dragons? And now they've announced out of nowhere a new game. A new game. Why? Why? Like, there's no tangible reason, and they announced this out of nowhere, and it's about Mortal going to space, which is a meme in and of itself, because Mortal is sort of a medieval influenced a world, and I get the idea of wanting to expand the lore of this world to exist in the future where they've had a space race. I don't know, but I get the idea of wanting to do it, expand the lore, but to just announce this in the middle of a game that doesn't feel finished is insane. It was a very, very, very poor decision that is absolutely bizarre. He announced it, Henrik on the stream, the CEO of Starvolt, announced it with pretty much no sort of context, and it opened a can of worms for the Mortal Online 2 community. And essentially, they butchered him in the Twitch chat is what happened. And he had to answer a lot of questions. They ended up releasing a statement. And essentially what's happened is that it's not really a game they're working on right now. It's just an idea they have for the future, by the sounds of it. It's something that they can use to lever funds and resources for Mortal Online 2. But why announce it in the way that they did is just perplexes me. I don't know how there's not one person in the office that says we shouldn't announce this right now in the run up to territory control, which is probably the biggest update the game will receive. And something that people have been waiting for since the launch of the game is territory control, which for anyone that doesn't play Mortal is essentially like guild warfare, being able to siege stuff and being able to control areas. So yeah, it was an insane decision to announce this in the lead up to something that people have been waiting for since the release of the game. But after many explanations and sort of talking about it, it's not the worst thing in the world. I just think it was a very, very poor way to announce it. Why make a trailer? Why make a teaser trailer? This shoddily made, really quickly put together, looks like UE5 or 4, I can't remember which number it is, UE5, isn't it? Sort of trailer with the sort of meme Thursar, which is the guy you see at the end in space, looking as emotionless as they usually do. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. No one asked for this. No one asked for this. No one wanted this. No one was thinking about this. This is just something that was on no one's plate. And if they just released a text, if they released a sort of a sort of article announcement where they just wrote out after Mortal Online 2, specifically after Mortal Online 2, we want to work on another game. We want to bring Mortal into the future and see what this world would look like in the far future when they're in space, or something along those lines. They wouldn't have to reveal anything. The game isn't going to look like how it looked in the trailer, and it just doesn't sit right with anyone. So yeah, that's essentially it. Terrible idea, terrible thing to do, and the worst bit is that the bad PR always does better than the good PR. And Starvolt have done an unbelievable job on Mortal Online 2 over the last year. They've turned it into a completely unplayable mess. They've turned it from a completely unplayable mess into a very enjoyable game. And you can see that from the Steam charts numbers going up. It's not many players, but it's enough to sustain the game, and it's enough for the game to feel busy. So no one's going to report on that, really. It's not something that gets clicks, unfortunately. And people have already made, so Kira's made a video on it, Narka's made a video on it about Mortal Exodus, and a lot of people are going to see this, and it's going to put people off of Mortal Online 2. And I just don't understand who in the office for Starvolt is, where's their PR? Where's their ability to say, no, we shouldn't announce this, because they just throw everything at the wall and just hope it'll be okay. And I think it's not fair for the player base. I think it's just a terrible idea for them to do that. And I think they just need to sometimes just be quiet and work on what they've got and work on what they're doing. I know it's a different industry, but one of the main things when you do YouTube is that I learned quite early on is that you don't really like announce stuff, because you never know if you're going to live up to the promise in the way that you announce it. So just do stuff, just do it. And that's what I want them to do. I want them to just do it. And they have been doing it for the last year, and I want them to continue doing it. And I want them to stop just announcing stuff all the time, because it just puts people off. So that's pretty much it. That's all there is to this. Yeah, there's nothing else to add. You can see why this is a bad idea. I hope they do something about it. It isn't a game that they're working on now. It looks like just weird, just bizarre. Let's just leave it at that. Just bizarre. End the video, Ed. Press stop recording. That's it. Thank you for watching. See you later.